Hi, everybody. Shirlene Reeves here. I always love chatting with you. This is really fun for me. But I wanted to talk to you today about clearing. This is so important. And what is clearing? Well, like I talked to you in the video the last time about my situation and how many problems that I had in my life that it created all this fear. So we have to get the fear out of our system. That's what the clearing is all about. And a lot of times we think differently than other people. Have you ever noticed that? But imagine if everybody thought the same way, what a boring world this would be. There'd be no challenges. We probably would never make a mistake because everybody would think the same way we do exactly. But the truth is, nobody thinks the way we do, right? Nobody thinks the way you do. Nobody thinks the way I do. I can share with you some great information, but even in sharing that information, you may or may not hear it the way I intended to share it. And that's where we get into trouble because that is where our childhood steps in. So when we think about clearing, we have to think about specific things. And what I'd like to do is read some ideas out of my book about clearing and the questions you might want to ask yourself. So are you ready? Here you go. The question I ask in the book, and here's the book, Selling Through Your Heart, empowering you to build relationships for financial freedom. So here's what I ask. Do you always have to be right? Are you walking over another person's boundaries without thinking about his or her feelings? Is it your practice to think and talk about only you all the time, right? All your problems, your issues, and you're trying to work the you out on everybody who will listen? Do you anger easily and take control of every decision, making others feel as if they must walk on eggshells to keep the peace? Oh my gosh, I lived a whole life of walking on eggshells for fear that something would happen. As I grew up, I became a people pleaser. All I did was say yes to everything because I was afraid that people wouldn't like me if I didn't say yes. And that wasn't beneficial to me or them. Because if you say yes to everything and then you don't want to do it, there causes a tremendous amount of resentment. Are you a liar, telling stories that aren't true except in your own mind? That's an interesting thought. Have you ever been critical and judgmental while hurting another's feelings? Believe me, if you say ugly things about somebody, it's always, always, always going to come right back to you. And then what are you going to do? That should be the fear. So stop talking about other people. Stop talking about yourself all the time and take an interest in what others have to share with you. Is it your nature to blame everyone else but yourself? That absolutely happened to me with my husband. Boy, don't you love that? I learned that over the weekend. I was at the Evolutionary Business Council, and one of the people I was talking to said she had so many problems with her husband, meaning the husband of the past. How did you relate, or how are you relating to your spouse or your children? Is it always their fault? Is everything their fault? Or is it just the way you're thinking? Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And maybe if you sat down and looked at it from someone else's perspective or what they may be experiencing, you would change your frame of mind. And here's a great example. I was sitting waiting to go on the freeway. I had nowhere to go. There were cars all the way up to the signal on the on-ramp. And this guy behind me kept honking. And I was throwing my arms up going, where am I going to go? Where do you want me to go? Why are you honking at me? Well, there was no answer for it. And I just realized that maybe he was having a really bad day and he needed to get somewhere in a big hurry. And he thought his only answer to this big, long line of people was to sit and continue to honk at people, making everyone else uncomfortable. So it felt like he was blaming everybody else for the anger and the rage that he had inside, trying to make everyone move out of his way, but nobody had anywhere to go. The reason I bring that up is because so many times people get angry and there's nothing anybody can do for them. And all it takes is patience and a waiting to figure out what to do. But instead, they get angry and jump all over people all around, blaming everybody else for their particular challenge. Let's take a look at the next one. Are you a downer, thinking only negative thoughts and whining to anyone who will listen? You know, if you can clear a room really fast, you know you're probably a downer. Because people hide from you. They don't want to be around you. People want to be uplifted. They don't want to be taken down because you're feeling miserable on that day. Do you harbor resentments and hate toward others and cast them out of your life? Think about how you think about things and what you do with people. Do you cast people out of your life? Because a lot of people do it just so that they can't be hurt again, right? They don't want to be hurt again. The next one is, have you abused, lashed out, or physically hurt those closest to you? There's no reason to do that. And this is part of your clearing, thinking about these things and what you may have done that affected other people's lives. Is it your selfish way or the highway? There it is. That's it right there. And you know, when I wrote this book, I thought about different people and what they did to others. And I've watched them for years because I have a psychology background. And so I find the mind and the way people think extremely interesting. And these items in here are all items that I have witnessed in other people and also myself. Obviously, I needed to do a lot of clearing because of my background and where I came from. Have you stolen the attention in another's moment of glory? Wow, bosses are really good with that, aren't they? You do all the work and then they get all the credit. That is so unfair. And the last one I have, are you addicted to alcohol or drugs and saying you're fine and that you've got it all under control? Well, we hear that a lot, right? That one of my husbands was that way, and I witnessed that time and time again. So what I'd love for you to do is read the blog, check off what relates to you, and as you're moving through clearing these out of your system, you're going to find that even though you happen to notice it, it's going to come up more than once, because you will be tested by the universe to find out if you really got the message. Be sure to like my post, please don't forget, and make a comment about what you're moving through in your clarity and how you are making changes in your life. That's what's so important. And the things that I'm talking to you about will make all the difference in your business because it will really help you with sales. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to click the like button, and I'll see you next week. Shirlene Reeves, over and out.